Hello world, it's me, Julian Venables, the London Astrologer, and I'm here to tell you your weekly astrology starting with Sunday the 17th of January 2021. Well world, I tell you, we have got one of the most intense weeks starting on the 17th. Most of the planetary action at the moment, in fact, pretty much all the planetary action is going to be between Taurus and Aquarius. Aquarius and Taurus. So these signs naturally make a square to each other. So they find it very difficult to fit into each other's space. Aquarius is very familiar with a sense of being truth-seeking, intellectual, friendly, humane, likes individuation. Taurus is a very solid, quite a peaceful sign, but very productive and very fertile and very slow and developing things and likes to have things. So it's very materialistic. Naturally, it's one of its ways of doing its life, if you like. Aquarius thinks more about the sort of bigger picture and the collective. This week, we have some really intense aspects. And so I'm going to do my best to guide you through this. And I'm going to say, you know, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes one has to go through the conflict to get to the resolution. So starting on Sunday, the 17th, and it's been building up for a few weeks now, is Jupiter in Aquarius square Uranus in Taurus. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and growth and opportunity. In Aquarius is about the individual. It's about, it has a sort of slightly political quality to it, but it's in its own way. It's definitely about humanity. It's about the people. It's about the movement or the growth of people, or the truth again, the truth coming through very strongly at the moment. And in a way, it has to be like what is expressed. And when it squares Uranus in Taurus, Taurus is the Uranian thing is like, be innovative, be in its own way. It's about shaking things up a bit, unconventionality. So it's the unconventional things to do with material things of life. So what we're getting is this sense of a conflict between the two. Jupiter wants to grow, Uranus wants to shake things around a bit, and the two just don't match. So I would say what you're looking at there is this sense of inconstancy. I think that's a really strong word here, is the idea of inconstancy and tactlessness. It's something that's being magnified greatly or exaggerated greatly. There's a lot of exaggeration around at the moment with Jupiter square Uranus. So in all things, what's exaggerated? And you'll get a much clearer idea. You know, you can look at all the different news articles, something's a lot bigger than it appears to be. And that is part of the nature of Jupiter Uranus. The conjunction was back in 2010, 2011, and it's now making the closing square. So there's a lot of tension. As I said, I'm sure it's to do with modern technologies, this whole development of this cycle. I said that last week, and I still will hold with that. I think it's something to do with future technologies. I would be very wary of things like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency right now. I don't think there's anything in them at all. They're actually non-existent things. This idea of Bitcoin mining and stuff like that is something that's not quite real. It's very unreal. And it could be, it's an inconstant thing. It's exaggerated. And so I'd pay very much attention and be careful about things like cryptocurrency and to be honest, Jupiter's a planet of belief. It's like who to believe or what to believe. I don't think it has substance. And because it doesn't have a substance to it, then I'd be wary of it. So I'm expecting a very big bubble burst with Jupiter, Uranus coming up now. And of course, Saturn, Uranus will be following that very soon. So a good thing about Jupiter, Uranus is that it provides a lucky chance. Okay? That is one thing that it can do. Someone somewhere is going to win the lottery real big or something like that. But it's not necessarily there's something about it as well that isn't just quite unreliable. So look out for your Jupiter Uranus, and that's happening this Sunday, the 17th. But it has been building up for a number of weeks. And it only happens once, this particular cycle. Okay, so it only makes Jupiter squares Uranus only once. Now we can go look to Tuesday the 19th, when the Sun moves into Aquarius. Now this is when people start to really become aware of how we can make substantial changes to society, to civilization, to social economic structure. Lots of shifts and changes because the Sun brings the awareness. It brings the consciousness to something. It moves into Aquarius. It's going to cross the point where Jupiter Saturn met just a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to have that starting of that cycle. So this is very interesting for something new. So be looking out for that new 200-year cycle that's soon to develop. Really very interesting, and hold out, keep optimistic for something good to happen. But then we get to Wednesday, and Wednesday is a very difficult day. Possibly one of the most difficult days that I've maybe seen in a long time. And we have Saturn making a semi-square to Neptune. It goes exact just before 5 p.m. GMT. Saturn's semi-square Neptune, this has been a long time building up, and it's not an easy aspect. And we go back to February, June, and November 1989 for the Saturn conjunction to Neptune, which was in the first 10 degrees of Capricorn. If you know your charts, that was where it happened in 1989. Now, Saturn is in Aquarius, Neptune's in Pisces. They make a semi-square to each other. Saturn has been all the way round the zodiac and is in a closing, waning semi-square. So it's closing up the things that were dreamed about, the visions of things. And what we've got left with this is a sense of maybe dissatisfaction. There were dreams back in 1989, a lot of very big dreams. A lot of people thought we were going to have a changed world. Did it change that much? Well, it did change a lot, but was it of a visionary nature? Was it a really was it a sense of, or was it also the idea that Saturn, Neptune in Capricorn is the dissolution of structures? So what we've been shown is that we can only have distrust and dissatisfaction with the way that the Western world is governed, or maybe all world government. It's about a lot of people. There's a great, huge imbalance in society. And I don't mean to get political here, but Saturn, Neptune as a combination is often related or linked to people who are poor or depressed. It's part of the nature of the combination of those planets. And I do believe the world is in a bit of a state at the moment, the people in the world. A lot of people are feeling very unconnected, very disenfranchised. There's a lot of distrust and insecurity based around what the systems we have created. And I'm looking here generally at the larger pattern of the 200 years of materialistic earth signs, consumerism, materialism, profit-making capitalism. All these sort of things have been very, very tested to prove now to not work. They don't align with how we actually need to live our lives. They are now out of alignment and out of balance in the world, and something new has to be put into its place. So this is the week when we start to realize that something new has to go into its place. Now, in your own lives and in your own charts, there's going to be something new. You've got to start seeing that you're dissatisfied with something, or you have a sense of insecurity, or things haven't worked out the way you wanted them to. And you have to realize, okay, so what can I create that's new? What do I have to look forward to? You have to go through a lot of conflict first. This week is the conflict-based week. It's going to happen in world news. Wednesday, the 20th of January is probably going to go down in history as a really heavy day. All right, because the same day we've got Mars conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Okay, and that can be very conflicting. All right, Saturn semi-square Neptune, Mars conjunct Uranus. I don't want to say this. I don't want to be someone who predicts disasters, but I'd say that's the recipe for a disaster. And I feel like, oh dear, I don't want to have to say that, but I think it's probably going to be. Saturn, Neptune is oceans and seas. Saturn is structures in the sea. Mars conjunct Uranus. Uranus could be possibly airplanes, ships and airplanes. Mars is hot. Maybe something shot, something fired. Saturn is a structure that needs to, with Neptune creates a kind of a dissolution or a hole or a dissolving. And all of this is topped with the sun square the moon. As someone having to, as I said, predictions are difficult. And I don't want to paint a terrible picture. I want to be able to fill you with hope and optimism when I do these. But I got to say that Wednesday the 20th is crunch day, right? There's something going on. And the sun moving into Aquarius square the moon in Taurus is going to be, it's going to pick all that up as well. It's picking up the Saturn, it's picking up the Mars Uranus, So I've got to say it's going to be something is going on. It's heavy, and maybe I'll do another video for it even. But look out, right, and be good to yourself. Ultimately, be good to yourself. And be nice to yourself and be nice to others, and know that you've got to have hope for the future. Okay. So that is very important, right? Because you've got to have hope for the future. We're in that very dark phase at the moment. The new moon just a couple of days ago was conjunct Pluto. Okay. So, in Capricorn, there's some it's a heavy month of darkness before the light starts to show. We're in the middle of winter as well. Something needs to an old way of doing things is soon to change. All right. And that's how this has to happen. Now, on Friday, the 22nd, the sun makes a parallel to Saturn. That's similar to a conjunction. So again, I would imagine that the news on Wednesday the 20th being heavy enough to make everybody on the Thursday 21 and Friday 22 go, whoa, what was all that about? Because it's going to be quite loaded. And of course, well, it's, going to be quite loaded. And on Saturday, the 23rd, we have Mars square Jupiter, Sun semi-square Neptune, and Venus sextile Neptune, and the Sun conjunct Saturn. Okay, now in the world of politics, of course, we have to look to America. It's the inauguration of the new president on Wednesday the 20th. I've got to say, Saturn semi-square Neptune, really, folks, this is, it's big, right? Something's going on. And the tension at the moment in America with all the politics is very, very clear. By Saturday the 23rd, people might be really recognizing that something new and different has to happen. It's the beginning of the dawning of the beginning of the new consciousness, because as the sun moves further into Aquarius and starts that conjunction to Saturn, which will happen very early Sunday morning on the 24th, of January, you know, then it's like that dawning of things can happen then, you know. And Mars squares Jupiter. We have to look to the hope for the future. We have to think all those planets slowly, gradually moving into Aquarius now. We're going to have 6 planets at the beginning of February in Aquarius. Think futuristically. Be friendly. Be humane. Be intelligent. Look for the truth. Look for the deeper meaning. Look for reform. Be inventive. Be innovative. Be individual. Be a freedom fighter. You know, do the things you have to do to embrace originality. And that way you're playing your part in leading us towards the future. So my name's Julian Venables. I'm the London Astrologer. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. As I said, this is a heavy week, but do think about maybe, you know, looking at your chart, seeing whether, you know, if you don't know your chart and you want to know more, come and talk to me. I am available for readings. And I would love to talk to you about your chart. I enjoy telling you these things. I enjoy being an astrologer. I have a great passion for the art. And come and talk to me. And do please subscribe. I do believe the button to subscribe is somewhere around about there. Give me a thumbs up. Always appreciated. I love those thumbs up because I do believe that helps my ranking in YouTube. And leave a comment. Of course, you're very welcome to leave a comment. And share my video because I hope that I can impart useful insights into the direction we are all going in this world. Thank you very much and see you next week. Goodbye for now and have a good week. Best of luck in all your endeavors.